Hey guys, welcome back. So in this week's video, I'm going to show you how to make a bass sound, which is kind of popular at the moment in the sounds of Alex Kassian, Manipulate and Paramida, along lots of other different artists. It's kind of reminiscent of like an old analog style, but you're going to use wavetable and parallel processing to give wavetable that nice analog warmth. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So for that kind of warm vintage style, let's first turn to our trusty wavetable. As you can see, I've written a bass line for this bad boy already, which sounds like this. Now for this sound, let's use the saw wave of oscillator 1 and bring our filter down to 369 with the resonance up to 37%. For the filters drive, we'll use the PRD filter circuit, bringing it up to 10 decibels. Now in the amp envelope, let's bring the sustain down to 0 and pull the release back to 200. Now for a bit more high end, let's use oscillator 2, set to the same wave but up 1 octave. Let's also bring its gain down a bit so it's less prominent. Also, because I forgot to do this earlier, let's make our filter slope steeper from 12 decibels to 24. Now I'm going to split our bass into two different frequency ranges by grouping the instruments and duplicating them. Let's name them both and use an EQ8 to separate the frequencies above and below 120 Hz. Also cutting out the extreme lows from our low chain. This can also be done by grouping just the effects to a rack, but I like to have two instances of the wavetable, so if I want to make any changes to the low or high frequencies, I can. So why do we want to do this? Well, this is a process which I mentioned earlier called parallel processing. It allows us to split our signal into multiple chains, use different effects before combining them back together. It allows us to have a clean signal whilst adding effects and not altering the original levels of the sound. It can also be used to turn one synth into multiple elements. I've already done a video on this, so check it out here. And if you're enjoying this video, please consider giving it a like. So back to our patch, let's turn our attention to the high frequencies, which we want to give a bit more space to by adding some reverb. 20% should do. It's useful to note that due to our split, we're only applying our reverb to the higher frequencies on our bass, which would avoid any unnecessary muddiness if it had been applied to the whole patch. To replicate that vintage analog bass sound, let's add some warmth to our low ends. We can do this by applying the saturator preset Hot Tubes to the low chain, which I can ramp up to 17 decibels. The saturator adds some extra frequency peaks to the low end, which makes the synth sound warmer and richer. Let's also slap on our trusty utility effect to make our lower bass sounds mono. Finally, let's bring our low channel down to adjust for the gain in volume from our saturator. One final effect I'm going to use is the distortion effect pedal. I'll leave it on overdrive while enabling the sub boost and adjusting the 3 frequency bands. Again, the overdrive is adding more harmonic content whilst boosting the certain frequency bands. As you can see on the EQ, when I enable the effect, more harmonic content is introduced into the top ranges of our sound. And that's it. Now here's our sound in context too. So that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something from that. Hopefully this whole parallel processing little trick can help you improve your bass sounds, even if you don't replicate this one. If you enjoyed this video and you want to know how to maybe get your kick and bass to act as one cohesive unit, then check out this video that I've done before. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel out, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.